Hi there, and welcome back to another Edit Genie Gems session. My name is Sarah, and I'll be taking you through today's topic of framing success, how photos make or break your messaging. So, on the topic of photos, we are going to be going through why pictures prove the point that you're trying to make, how photos can pack in meaning, why photos expand the reach and appeal of your brand and what you're looking to represent through your work. And then we'll get into some of the struggles that folks have when they're looking to communicate through using this particular visual medium and the solutions that can be overcome to address those challenges. The purpose of photos is pretty evident, right? Think about the moment someone lands on your page or picks up a material that you have printed out. Photos are going to be the first thing that they process. A strong photo proves your value a lot faster than text ever could. It signals trust and relevance of your brand, and it gives people a way to connect with you in a very immediate sense. So the helpful pieces about photos is that it helps you to build trust before words are even comprehended, and it can create that instant connection with your audience. When it comes to the actual function of photos, what they do is they replace or shorten text, right? No more blah, blah, blah. You can eliminate a lot of text by inserting photos instead. It helps you to abbreviate complex concepts that maybe are abstract, but can be really tangibly understood through a photo, through a visual image. And they also help to imbue your brand with meaning. A good photo is like a shortcut. Instead of a paragraph explaining your work, the right photo can tell the story in just a second. Photos also hold tone. They say whether you're professional or approachable, maybe if you're creative or detail oriented, without you having to spell it out. These are some of the functions that photos provide us when we're looking to build up a solid brand. When it comes to the value of photos, they simply help you reach a broader audience, right? What do they say? A picture is worth 1,000 words. Oftentimes you can convey messaging via photos that are really difficult to convey via words, especially if you're looking at a much broader audience, maybe an audience who doesn't read or an audience who doesn't understand your native language, but can still absolutely understand the information conveyed in a picture. The value of photos are that they help to increase engagement and retention of your audience. They help to strengthen brand recall because a strong image is going to make somebody stop scrolling. It's going to help them to lean in, to click, to have that memory stick with them. And that can help keep your brand top of mind. So the mistakes people make when they're trying to use photos to convey their mission, their messaging, they're common. People like to use an image that's really nice. Maybe it's really polished, but it's in the wrong place. Stock images that have been used out of context, photos that are maybe impressive but irrelevant, or maybe they're not applicable to the scenario you're trying to explain. These are really common tropes that folks fall into when they're trying to make the best use of their photos. I see it all the time in our website design and development work. Folks will want to use photos that are more even sometimes for decoration and not substantive, that kind of speak to the impact that they could potentially provide their audience. These are mistakes we want to avoid. Having too many photos or maybe not enough photos is also a challenge. You don't want to over rely upon the visuals doing the work for you. Photos are one mechanism in a larger context of being able to effectively storytell and effectively convey your mission, your meaning. And you also don't want full walls of text on your site where there are no photos at all. And, people are trying to come and get an impression of what you do. And all they're left to do is read through your website as if it's a book. That's not ideal either. And the last piece here that's a common struggle folks face when trying to harness the power of photos is inconsistency. Their photos could look all over the place. Maybe they don't have uniform headshots. They have different icon shapes that don't repeat in a theme. Maybe they have seemingly random colors that are assigned the photos. The photos are different tones or washes or, somehow they're not cohesive. And that's also a huge struggle. How can we then avoid those struggles and move forward to some of the solutions? We don't want to create noise. We don't want to create discord for our potential audience. But we want to make sure that all the photos that we use are fitting within our prescribed brand identity and our own themes that we've set up. So first things first, we definitely want to make sure that photos are part of the larger storytelling mechanism. They should be accents. They should be tools to be able to help convey meaning in a more effective, immediate way than maybe text can. And then the text can come and buffer that. We want to make sure that our proportions are balanced, that we have the right amount of photos, maybe not too many, not too little, but that the photos can take up roughly the same or maybe a little bit more physical space than our text does on our sites or on our brochures, our printed one-pagers and other materials. Your website is not a timeline. It's not a photo reel. And so make sure that you're mindful of striking visual balance with your use of photos. And finally, photos should fit within your existing brand template. So using consistent icon shapes, consistent colors, washes, the sizes of photos, being consistent about if you're using a lot of photos that are zoomed up close, or you're using photos where it's kind of a panoramic look, where you're zoomed out far away. Just being consistent about those things can really help the viewer and your potential audience members get a better grasp for the messages you're trying to convey. It'll help to bring your online identity together. And really, this goes beyond a website, but it also goes further into any other materials that you want to create. And so these are pretty straightforward fixes to be able to use photos to enhance your story instead of having any over reliance on photos or not using them at all. And so hopefully these are helpful solutions in your journey as you're using photos to tell your story.